Britain's trains often get a lot of criticism, whether for old and worn out carriages, terrible overcrowding, or constant delays and cancellations. And today I'm taking a ride on the brand new trains that the UK railways are abandoning. We'll look at the fancy interior on a short ride through picturesque North Yorkshire, all while exploring the reason that these carriages are being retired. So join me as I take a ride on TransPennine Express. Welcome to York. My journey today starts at the city's Grand Station, fit for such a historic city. Heading inside the forecourt, there's a taxi rank, with buses departing just beyond this. Even this part of the station is beautiful, but just wait until we get inside. York has a history with railways, and in 1839 a line connecting the city to nearby Leeds marked the first railway in the city. Through the years, railways became one of the city's main industries. There was even a large carriage factory that built some of the trains we'll see today. Look out for them. The restored main canopy of the station is spectacular, covering the two main tracks of the East Coast Main Line between London and Scotland. You can even stop by at the York Tap for a drink or two, while enjoying the views and passing trains. Though there are some normal shops around too, for soft drinks and snacks. I'll be travelling with TransPennine Express today, one of 5 train companies serving the station. TransPennine Express hasn't made themselves a popular train company in recent years, thanks to appalling levels of reliability across the north of England. Things got so bad that in May 2023, the government cancelled the contract of the operator and begun to operate things directly, joining a growing number of troubled train companies in the same position. LNER is another one of these, running express trains on the London to York, Newcastle and Scotland corridor. Cross Country runs services between Scotland and southwest England, with Northern running the majority of local train services in the area. York's position in the rail industry may not be as it used to be, but next door to the station you can find the National Railway Museum, which is well worth a visit. My service today is the 1100 from York to Scarborough. This departs from platform 4 at the north end of the station. It will be operated by one of these fairly new trains, which entered service in summer 2019. Shockingly, these are due to be withdrawn from service in winter 2023, and we'll go into that once I get on board. This is my train coming from Scarborough. It's formed of a Class 68 diesel locomotive, with the intention of swapping these for electric locos when infrastructure allows. Behind it is a rake of 5 Mark V coaches, built by CAF in Spain specifically for this route. This formation is referred to as a Nova 3, with Nova 2 and Nova 1 being used on different routes. I'm travelling in standard class today, and I don't have a seat reservation, so I'm free to choose my seat upon boarding. Standard class is in a 2+2 layout, as you'd expect. Most seats are at a table, but this carriage has a few airline-style seats. My seat will be Coach A, seat 53. Today's route will see us heading over the full length of the York to Scarborough line in North Yorkshire, crossing through the rolling hills and stopping off at small stations on the way to Scarborough. Journey time is scheduled to be 51 minutes to cover 42 miles or about 68 kilometres. We eventually depart York 5 minutes late at 11:05, though by TransPennine Express standards, that's not too bad. The first thing to see comes seconds after departure, as we cross the River Ouse on the Scarborough Rail Bridge. My first impression of these Nova 3 trains is positive, with the interior having some pleasant visual design. 15 minutes into our journey, we're speeding through farmland. Anyway, let's have a look around the interior here in standard class. As I mentioned earlier, most seats are around a table, though sadly window alignment is pretty poor. And speaking of windows, it looks like there should be blinds, but none were fitted. Seating on British trains has been a controversial topic lately, with many people complaining about very hard and uncomfortable seats. I was keen to see how these trains compared, but unfortunately was left disappointed. There was very little padding, and the ergonomic design was appalling. A leather headrest is provided, but it was also very hard and not comfortable at all. Small folding armrests can be found between the seats, though these were pretty stiff. As these seats are incredibly thin and bolt upright, the legroom here is great. The seat back table is also really well sized, featuring 2 cup holders and an extending bracket for laptops. This groove allows you to place your phone or tablet in for easier viewing. Beneath the seats are the power sockets. Each pair of seats gets a UK 3-pin socket and a USB socket. Overall, this is a great interior, excluding the terrible seating. We'll also take a look at first class a little later, which is much more comfortable. Oh, and I just have to mention what a lovely colour scheme this interior has. I'm really a fan of it. We're now approaching one of our 2 stops en route. This is Malton, a market town with a population of just 5,000 residents. This station building is really nice, dating back to 1845. It's a Grade 2 listed building, and as such, it's been wonderfully preserved. Malton Station actually has 2 tracks, but only 1 platform. This means that westbound trains must cross over to stop at the station. So despite being overall pleasant trains, they're soon going to be withdrawn from service and abandoned. But why? Well, it goes back to 2016, with TransPennine Express promising big fleet improvements. This was in the form of the Nova trains, with 3 very different designs. Unfortunately, cracks were discovered on the structure of the Mark V carriages. Instead of having this repaired, the recently nationalised operator decided to just get rid of all 66 of them. Personally, I think this is a really poor effort from the government, especially with a national shortage of diesel trains and massive overcrowding. It's also a disgusting waste of brand new trains, most of which will have been in use for just 4 years. We'll talk about what's replacing them later, though prepare to be disappointed. Moving down the train, we find first class. It's in a 2+1 layout and looks absolutely amazing. These seats were much more comfortable and even offered a good recline, as well as a really good headrest with cushion. But let's head back to standard class. All passengers get free Wi-Fi, and this was easy to connect to, though for some reason my speed was limited. There are luggage stacks found throughout the train. Large overhead racks are also present above the seats. And just beneath the windows, you can find air vents, which is a feature I really like. We make a stop at Seymour Station, which is a junction not far from Scarborough. This is where our line from York and Leeds meets the route from Hull, which is operated by Northern. Both routes then continue to Scarborough. Now on to how much I paid for this trip. I bought a one-way fixed ticket with my 16 to 25 railcard, which cost £6.05. I think this is a pretty reasonable price for the journey. But if you don't have a discount card and need a flexible ticket, then you can expect to pay over 3 times this amount, which is an absurdly high price for the product on offer here. As for the future, well, these trains are set to be stored pending further use or disposal. The replacement takes the form of, well, nothing. Instead, TransPennine Express are going to further stretch their fleet of 3-car Class 185 trains. With their low capacity, this is definitely not going to be good. We pass by Scarborough Depot, where this fleet of carriages is presently maintained. And just 1 minute later, we are warmly welcomed to Scarborough by this classic British Rail era sign. Scarborough Station is also home to what is believed to be the longest railway bench in the world, coming in at 139 metres. In conclusion, with the exception of the truly awful seats, I think these are really nice trains. They offer a great ambience, look the part, and most importantly, add a lot of capacity. Them being withdrawn from service is a great shame, and a good indicator of just how messed up Britain's railways are these days. As always, let me know what you thought of the TransPennine Express Nova 3 in the comments, and for a look at one of the UK's most hated commuter trains, the Class 142 Pacer, then click up here now.